What is up? Testing, testing. How's everybody doing? What's up, boys? Hello. Hello, hello. Anybody here? We are early today, as a first. What's up, user XK7MR7MV3D? Lamar Alberto since Higgins is out. I'm probably leaning Lamar going up against a much better defense. With no Higgins, it's a lot of touchdown upside there, man. Probably go with Lamar over Burrow personally. I just feel like you have a little bit of a better floor too, because he could help you in terms of getting rushing yardage. While I don't know if Burrow doesn't get the touchdowns, you're kind of cucked, right? So I'd go Lamar there, man. Kyron Diggs, Hendy, and DK full PPR. I gotta look at the matchups, brother. If you want to stick around while I look at the matchups, I'll help you out. What's up, Ronnie? What's up, Mentally Phil? Welcome, boys. I do like the over/under there with the Rams game with Kyron. And we know he's going to get a lot of goal line work, right? So I lean Kyron in that, especially considering DK. He is playing against the Dolphins, who've been actually better against wide receivers lately, man. Just looking at the last 4 weeks in fantasy points against. Am I a dirty liar? Yeah, I guess I'm a dirty liar. The Dolphins are 21st against wide receivers, which is better than they were, right? They were like 30th early in the season, but they've been a little bit better. You could still kind of attack them. So DK is an interesting pick. DK's coming off a big game. Blurpy, I'll tell you what, man. Because it's full PPR, I'd probably go DK and Kyron there. As much as I want to play Henderson, I just don't know if Henderson's going to get all the work, man. Like, he's got so much upside, but you kind of want to avoid somebody who has a really high chance of getting, 30%, 40% of the touches. If Ramondre's running hot early, they might just ride him, and then plus he's like at their goal line back, and I think he's healthy, right? So, Rodriguez is out. Damn, really? I had him as like a pretty big start of the week. I feel like Jacory's a really good start now. What's for dinner, man? What's for dinner, Phil? What did I eat? That's some leftovers, man. The wife and I ordered some pizza yesterday. We had some leftovers, so leftover pizza, not very exciting, man. Not very exciting at all. Rodriguez is out. Damn. Yeah, I'd go with Kyron and DK at Blurpy, if that helps you out, man. That's just me, though. I understand if you want to play Diggs in that return game. He was pretty good in that first matchup against the Bills, but I don't know if I trust Diggs, to be honest. Rodriguez is out. Tone, what's up, Tone? Welcome, brother. I have to choose between Jay or Judy, Singletary, or one of Washington running backs. Who do you recommend? Is Rodriguez really out? I don't know if I could trust you, Dave. B Silva in the motherfucking house. What's up, B Silva? Hold on, Tone. I just gotta make sure Rodriguez is out, dude. I trust you, Rodriguez. Or I trust you, Tone. Or do I trust you? I guess I don't trust you if I'm second guessing it, right? Jay Woozy. What's up, dog? Hold on, man. I'll get to you, Jay Woozy. Just give me a second. I gotta help out our boy Tone over here. I usually start these streams by going through the. Damn, he is out. That sucks, man. He had such a good matchup this week against the Giants. I guess Jacory Cross-Merritt's about to win some people some week 15, first round of the playoffs. Um, with that said, Tone, you got to choose between Judy, Singletary, or one of them. I'd go Ja'Cory Krosky, bro. He has such a good matchup against the Giants. They're like, I believe, dead last against running backs. Yeah, they're second to last. They're 31st against running backs the last 4 weeks. They've just been getting dookied on, bro. So I'd go with Ja'Cory Krosky. I'd go with Bill. I know it feels shitty because he's been so bad, but I don't want to play Jerry Judy. He's just so boom bust, and he's mostly bust. Singletary, Tracy's fully healthy, right? If Tracy was banged up, questionable, if he was looking real iffy, but he was clear to play pretty early in the week, so I imagine Tracy's going to have his normal role. Give me JCM in a really good matchup, man. Shador, McCarthy, or Brissett, B. Silva, rest in peace, bro. You playing for the toilet bowl, bro, with those quarterbacks? Shador, McCarthy, or Brissett? Go with Brissett, man. Brissett seems to be pretty matchup proof. I like McCarthy's matchup this week for sure. Dallas Cowboys are pretty butt cheeks, to be honest, when it comes to defending quarterbacks and wide receivers, but he's just too hit or miss, right? Like he looks like cat shit one week and then he looks actually competent the next. Go with Brissett. He's at this point, he earned our trust, man. Every week, it doesn't matter the defense, he seems to produce. So, hell yeah, what's up, Jackson? Welcome, man. Woody Marks over Brissett in Superflex. I don't know if I'd do that mentally, Phil. Phil, is it, if it's full of PPR? I mean, I guess that doesn't really matter, right? You're probably just gonna go with Brissett. Just go with Brissett, man. The matchup doesn't seem to matter for him. I know it's a tough matchup against the Texans. They are 10.5-point underdogs, but I feel like you're being a little bit too cute. Woody Marks has a good matchup, obviously against the Texans, but I don't know, dude. That's just being a little too cute there. Just go with Brissett and hope that he can do some stuff in garbage time or just hang with the Texans. I know that's a tough one. I imagine you've been struggling with that all week, Phil. But just go with the QB there. If it was like Sanders or Woody Marks or like, Bus Stop Magoo, Dingus McChingus or Woody Marks, then I get it. But Brissett's just been so good, man. So Burrow and Herbert, and be able to pick up Darnold or T. Law. Burrow or Herbert? Let me look at the Herbert matchup real quick. Against the Chiefs, I probably want to lean away. It's such a low over-under, bro, 41.5. And I know the Chiefs' defense is usually pretty good. Ronnie, you got to choose 4. The Ron man, the Ronner. I didn't see your message, Ronner. Who would you pick out of those 4? I assume you're picking one QB, the Ronifer. It's for me. It's between Burrow and maybe T. Law, but I feel like that's being a little bit too cute. Like 40.5 over under, bro. This could just be an ETN 2-touchdown game again. I'd go with Burrow. I think it's gonna be a shootout. Both teams essentially, it's like a must win for both teams. The Bengals have to like pretty much win every game, and the Ravens are essentially, they have their destiny in their own hands. If they win this game, they're in a good position. So it's going to be a tough divisional game, and I think Burrow's going to have to sling it even without Higgins. So that's how I do, man. Who do you go with? That? Yeah, so that's what I do. Kyle Mononga on the bench. We're also starting DeAndre Swift. I feel you, bro. Would you do both Bears running backs instead of McNichols? Definitely, bro. I do Swift and Mononga, not McNichols and JCM. So, yeah, McNichols he's just not really that usable, right? Can we trust Bowers today? It's a good question, man. Against the Eagles, let's actually have a look, man. It's like the lowest over under I've seen in a while, man. 37.5, with the Philadelphia Eagles being 12.5-point favorites, man. That means Vegas is expecting the Raiders to score, what is that, 13 points? Do you guys have a good way to do these over-under differentials, like mathematically or mentally? mental math. How do you do it? Do you do divide by 2 and then add 6.25? I don't know. Fuck it. The Raiders are not expected to score a lot of points, so I don't know if I could trust them. But let's look at how the Eagles have been against tight ends. That'll give us a better idea of how Bowers specifically is going to be. So they're 13th best against tight ends, 10.6 points allowed. Only 2 touchdowns in the last 4 weeks to tight ends. So that's, or I should say 2 touchdowns, right? I mean, the number one or the worst team is giving up 3. So the Eagles are still giving up some touchdowns to tight ends. Not that great when it comes to yardage, only 144. I feel like I'd still trust Bowers. At the end of the day, who's going to produce? Like, who's it going to be, man? So he's their number one red zone option. He's their number one, like, third down option. He's just their number one passing option in general, even against a good defense, even with a low over-under. I think if the Raiders are going to get into the end zone, it would be Bowers. And you can't sit Bowers in the playoffs, right? This is why you drafted this man. So I hope that helps B. Silva. But you can sub him for Michael Wilson, Shakir, or Flowers. Oh, why do you got to do that to me, bro? I feel like Michael Wilson against the Texans or Bowers against the Eagles. I feel like you're fucked either way, but Michael Wilson has a little bit of a higher floor, right? Also a higher ceiling. We saw what he could do. Damn. I'll tell you what, B. Silva. If it's between Bowers, Michael Wilson, Shakir, Flowers, plus you got Flowers against the Bengals, B. Silva, you're coming in hot, man. I feel like most fantasy people will tell you that you got to start Flowers there with the easiest matchup. Especially if it's like a full PPR, bro, you probably want to go Flowers there. Damn, B. Silva. That's a tough one, man. You're sitting Bowers in the playoffs for Flowers, or you're sitting Bowers for Flowers. Listen, man. The data or the numbers should tell us you're going to start Flowers in that one against the Bengals. Divisional game, 51.5 over under. I go with Flowers. At least I can sleep at night knowing that he actually has a good matchup and he's actually going to get targets, while the other 2 guys in really tough matchups, I just kick myself, man. I kick myself knowing that Bowers could outperform him. So Chuba, Sutton, or Devontae Smith at flex. I'd probably go with Devontae Smith there. Let me just make sure and look at the matchups. Sutton against the Packers. 42.5 over under. How have the Packers been against wide receivers? Let me just make sure, man. Packers are 10th best against wide receivers. Do you want to start a wide receiver against the Packers? That is a tough one, man. Courtland Sutton, dude, he's been so hot or cold. But it's an important game. 11-2 Broncos versus 9-3 Packers. 2 of the top teams in the NFL going at it. Sutton, the most trusted player. When I peer into the flames, bro, I see a Sutton touchdown. I'm sorry, Bill Silva. I missed your Wandale Jennings. Wandale and Jennings are auto starts, in my opinion, especially with the matchups. Yes. Chuba, Sutton, or Devontae Smith. Chuba against the Saints. The Saints, if I remember correctly, have been really good against running backs, bro. Let's have a look. I'm a fucking dirty liar. Where are they? 23rd worst. All right, so not really good, but they've been decent. Not bottom 10 at least. I'd go with Sutton there, man. I think it's just a much more important game with 2 competent teams going at it, right? And I think we got another Sutton game. But if you can pick 2, Eli, I'd probably lean with Sutton and Smith. Just it's the safer 2 players who they're going to get some volume. While Chuba, bro, you just never know, man. What's up, Jackson? 44% chance of winning because of Egbukdu. I flex Michael Wilson, Neal, Butte, Vele, or Strange. I'd go with Michael Wilson there without even seeing the other the rest of that question. Or, okay, Fannin, Wandale, Chase Brown, Henderson are starting for me. I think you got the starters locked down, Jackson. Between those options, hold up. Let's look at Neil, dude. Let's dig a little bit deeper on this Neil matchup. So Neil's going up against the Panthers. They are 29th worst against running backs. Damn, but it is Devin Neal. It is an offense that I don't know if we can trust them a lot. Fuck. Michael Wilson in a tough matchup versus the Texans, or Devin Neal. I'm not even really looking at Boutte and Vele, to be honest, bro. And Strange, just I don't know if you ever really want to start a tight end at your flex. All right, Jackson. For me, it's between Neal and Wilson. I'm sure that's where you were leaning as well. I'll tell you what, man. Hold up, I might have just scrolled past a bunch of messages. Damn, we got a lot of messages. I'm sorry, guys. I'll get to them. I promise you I'll give you guys as much attention as I can to each question. All right, Jackson. Neal has a really good matchup, and the Saints could play spoiler. They could play spoiler to the Panthers because the Panthers are feeling nice after the Bucs just lost. But the Saints are like, yo, hold up. We might be able to play spoiler. Chuba Hubbard, after the last game, the team said that Chuba was running hot, so we stuck with him. But Rico is still our guy. So I'm worried about starting Chuba Hubbard. Wait, what the fuck? Did I just switch up the questions? My bad. We're not on Chuba anymore. We're on Neal and Wilson, right? So my bad. Sorry. I'm looking at messages right now. I'm 1 HP right now. I'm looking at tons of different shit. Michael Wilson has a really tough matchup, while Devin Neal has a good matchup, but we don't know what version of the Saints are going to show up. Is it going to be like the dog shit Saints, or is it going to be the ones that actually looks competent with Tyler Shuck, right? So because we just don't know, and we know that Michael Wilson has like 15 target upside, right? 15 target upside with MHJ. Let me just make sure he's out. Starvin Marvin is definitely out. I'm going Michael Wilson there. I know it's a tough matchup, but he's just going to see like 10 targets most likely. Trey McBride's going to see another 10 targets. They're going to be playing from behind. It's a tough defense, so they're going to be, really just throwing the ball, because I don't know if they're going to be running the ball effectively. They don't really even have a running back to do it. I'm starting Michael Wilson. I don't want to leave a dude who has like 30 point, who just, is coming off a 35 point game on my bench. So I'm sorry, man. I just can't. I can't sit Michael Wilson even with the matchup. While Devin Neal, I love the matchup, and I love how he looked last week. He just didn't get enough receiving work for me to trust him this week. All right, let's try to go through these. Need to start two: Tet, Myers, or Ladd, no QJ. Ladd with no QJ is really interesting to me, man, because it is a really good matchup. If I remember correctly, let me just make sure. So the Chiefs, it's not a really good matchup, but when it comes to the slot wide receiver for the Chargers, Ladd has the highest chance of performing, right? Because the Chiefs are really good against the run, and they're really good outside, defending outside wide receivers. So Ladd is in a really good spot here. Plus no QJ, so that's a little bit more target competition. Jacoby Myers, that's kind of the roulette wheel where you're hoping it lands on him again with so many mouths to feed there. Another week of Brian Thomas being back and, being a little bit better, hopefully. Or not hopefully, because I traded him away. Hopefully he sucks ass. 40.5 over-under. I don't really like Jacoby this week, man. It's just such a low over-under. If you need to start two, I'd go with Ladd and Tet. It's just such a low over-under. It could just be an ETN Tootin game. And, if Strange catches a touchdown, that's pretty much all the touchdowns there are to go around, right? ETN gets one, Strange gets one, and then you're like biting your fingernails, because they're just running the ball the rest of the game, right? Because the Jets can't really score on them. So that is a tough one. I know, because Myers has been performing so well, Phil, but I'd go with Ladd and Tet there. Derrick Henry and Saquon, who have great matchups, but I have Quinshawn and Monunga on the bench. Walk me off the edge. I know the right answer, but Saquon pisses me off every week. I feel you, Seth. Saquon. He's had more bad weeks than good weeks, right? Let's look at the game log. He has a brutal game log, brother. 31 points. You're feeling good. You're going into the bye week, and then it's like 11-9, 8-5. And like last week was good, right? But it was 18 fantasy points, right? While Judkins, I'm sorry, I'm moving so slow, everybody. I try to give everybody like good advice and not just look at like some rankings and tell them to fuck off, right? Against Chicago, is it really that good of a matchup that we think? Let's have a look. Last 4 weeks, um, the Bears are actually 11th best, man. And they're going to stuff the box. And Quinshon just can't run against stuffed boxes. Teams are just stopping the run and just forcing Sanders to try to beat them or tempting him to beat them. So hopefully that helps you get off the ledge there, man, with Quinshon. I know it looks like a good matchup on paper, but the Bears are actually sneakily good against the run, man. So I'd stay with Saquon and Derrick Henry. My nun guy, it's just not enough work, to be honest. If Swift were injured, I'd do it, but start your studs, man. Don't fuck around. Full PPR pick 2 Chuba against the Saints, Devontae Smith against the Raiders, and Sutton against Green Bay. Eli, I think we already answered that, man. I would go with Smith and Sutton. Just guaranteed volume, most likely with both guys. With Chuba Hubbard, the team already said we're kind of playing the hot hand there. I hope that helps, man. Judkins, Butte, Burden, or Strange. What's up, Vidius? Welcome again, man. We just talked about Judkins. Butte is somebody who I understand the over-under is nice. I understand the dude scored a lot of touchdowns on the season. I believe he has like 6 touchdowns on the season. But you're kind of chasing really low volume with Butte, man. Like, we're talking about a dude who's going to get you, 5, 1, 2, 5 targets. I mean, in his full-time workload, 2 and 5 targets, man. So I understand the wanting to potentially start him because of that touchdown upside. Drake May is really, he's been throwing the ball deep really well. Judkins is probably the safest play out of all those names. Odunze looks like he's going to be playing. Strange is going to have to get a touchdown to really make you happy. While Judkins, when they get into the red zone, he's getting wildcat stuff. He might not this week because it didn't work last week for that 2-point conversion. So it's possible the team just puts the ball into Sanders' hand when they get into the goal line. That's what I'm actually worried about with Judkins. But he's the one who has the most guaranteed touchdown upside, I think. So I'd go with Judkins there, Vidius, and just feel happy that you're going to get a dude who's at least going to get volume, right? Even if the volume doesn't lead anywhere, at least he's going to get valuable touches, right? Mentally, Phil, damn. Brother, picking up JCM and starting him over Genty, I just want to reiterate, man, the Raiders are 12.5-point underdogs with a 37.5 over-under. That means the Raiders are going to score 13 points. I don't know the math exactly, but if the Eagles are going to win by 13 or win by 12, and it's only 37.5 over-under, if somebody's good at math in this room, let your boy know how many points they think Vegas are going to score. So, but would I start JCM over him? I think you don't win fantasy football championships without making some crazy ass plays. And that is one that I wouldn't even say is super crazy, but I legitimately think both guys have a similar floor. And I legitimately think Genty's ceiling this week is like 12 points. If everything goes his way, he gets hella receptions, maybe falls into the end zone. This is the Eagles defense we're talking about, man, in a game that they legitimately have to win because they are only 8-5 right now. They are not in the playoffs for sure. So I would start JCM over Genty if I'm honest. I know I have tough matchups. Flowers got burned by Cincy or versus Cincy, so that's hard to trust him. Mike Wilson has a tough matchup, but he has been balling without MHJ. Definitely, man. Michael Wilson, stud, bad matchup, has performed like a top 5 wide receiver every time MHJ is out. Flowers, a good matchup, but the dude is super hit or miss. So that's a tough one, B. Silva, but I feel like you got to roll with. Oh, damn. I think you got to roll with Wilson, man. I know it's a better matchup with Flowers, but as you mentioned, he is too hit or miss, man. So let's move this along. Holy shit, we have a hell of questions. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry we're moving so damn slow. Tet or Rome decision in my wide receiver 3, Seth. Go with Tet. Go with Tet. It's a must win for them. After the Bucks just lost, they're feeling hell good. They're vibing right now. I think Tet has a chance to do some good stuff this week. Rome just, I'm sorry, man. Rome is just, he's not what we thought he was. He was like a my guy this year. I was drafting him everywhere. I was feeling hella good after the first couple weeks, but it's just a team that moves the ball or distributes the ball way too much to so many different players. So I love Rome as a talent, but it's just not going to, I don't think it's going to, he's somebody we can trust this year. Rico or Mike Wilson at flex? Full PPR. If it's full PPR, I'd probably go with Mike Wilson there, man. I think he can get home just on volume alone. Because Rico actually hasn't been as good as he was earlier in the season. How's everybody doing, by the way, man? I know everybody's coming in with the sit starts. Everybody's feeling hella nervous, but how are you guys doing? How's everybody doing? Yeah, Rico's a little bit hard to trust, man. Ever since week 9, he hasn't been that great. The yards per carry have been down. And look, I was a big Rico Dowdle hater. The first 4 weeks of the season, he was kind of cat shit. And then had like the 2 best matchups in all of football against the Dolphins and the Cowboys. And then everybody kind of crowned him the next AP. So I'd go with Mike Wilson, and I wouldn't really think too hard about that one, man. I know it's a bad matchup, but Neal or Wilson, I really don't know. I lean Wilson just off of volume, bro. Full PPR, Tyler Warren or Likely? Go with Likely, man. The matchup is just so fucking good. He's way more involved now. He seems to be there between the 20s tight end, and he's got some touchdown upside, right? He could have had like 2 touchdowns in the last game. I'd go with Likely. It's the best matchup for tight ends by like a large margin, and Tyler Warren's going to have 44-year-old Phillip Rivers throwing him the ball, man. How sad. If you have Tyler Warren, I wouldn't feel too good about it. Bill, Mason, Turpin, or Shaheed? Go with Bill. Hayden. PPR return yards as well. Oh shit. Doesn't that make Turpin actually really interesting? Hayden, I'm sorry, bro. I can't help you too much because of the return yardage, but I imagine Turpin actually kind of cooks in return yard leagues, right? Yeah, holy shit, dude. The guy averages like 150 return yards per game. I feel like it has to be Turpin, no? Is Shaheed the return man for the Seahawks? I can't spend too much time on this, Hayden, because this is kind of like Shaheed had 148 last week with a touchdown. Damn. I think it's between Turpin and Shaheed, right? If you're picking 2, you're probably going Turpin and Shaheed and just hoping that Shaheed continues returning kickoffs. He also has some upside as a receiver, right? He can also catch a long bomb touchdown. I'd go with Turpin and Shaheed if I understand the settings correctly, man. Ronnie, what's up, dude? Again, need 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. I already started Bucky. Shake my head. I know, bro. What a bad week for him to finally be bad. I think it was his only game under 10 fantasy points on the season. Absolutely brutal, dude, in the playoffs, too. All right, you need 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. So you need to start. Okay. Cook, ETN, Swift. All right, so I'm going with... All right, let's get your RB1 in. Cook is definitely going to be your RB1. It's just such a nice over-under. A big-time game, probably the game of the week. I'm fitting ETN in at that flex. I'm not sitting ETN. I don't care. And then you need 2 wide receivers now. ETN just has such a good matchup, dude. They're just going to be dominating. He could have another 2 touchdown game in this one. So let's figure out your 2 wide receivers now. If it's full PPR, I might have to hesitate on ETN. Olave, McLaurin, JMO. The Saints are playing the Panthers. 41.5 over under. But Olave is going to be the guy if it's going to be anyone, most likely, right? If it's full PPR, Olave is someone that I really like in this one. But JMO with the upside, I believe St. Brown is back, right? Let's just make sure. Let's make sure the man is back. Could see heavy target volume in week 15. Does that mean he's back? Yes, probably. Um, Ronnie, your question is full PPR. Okay, thanks for the clarification there. Because it's full PPR, that makes me hesitate. It makes me want to kind of lean toward the wide receivers. But can you sit ETN against the Jets, man? I fucking hate myself if the dude has another 2 touchdowns, man. It's such an easy game for them. Um, you need some upside because you started Bucky. JMO probably has to get into one of those spots, doesn't he? With St. Brown against the Rams, though, whose defense is really good. Damn, bro, this is a tough one, man. I can see why you're kind of struggling here, Ronnie. The Ron man, the Ronifer. McLaurin is also sitting there with a really good matchup, dude, against the Giants. And McLaurin's been good in one of the 2 games, right? How was he last week? If I remember, not too great. Yeah, 19 then 5 fantasy points, but 14 targets, man. All right, I'll tell you what, Ronnie. Everything matters. Upside is everything. And in my opinion, when it comes to the fantasy playoffs, I want to try to play players that have good matchups. With that said, let's get some more light up in this bitch. Um, here it is, man. All right, RB1, you're going Cook. At wide receiver 1, you're going McLaurin. At wide receiver 2, you're going to go with Zane Flowers. Zay Flowers. Zane, is it short for Zane? Zanifer. Zay Flowers, bro, at your wide receiver 2. And at your flex, I would personally go with ETN. Again, I want to play the matchups. I want to play the guys in the favorite games when it comes to running backs. I know what JMO can do, but it's the Rams defense who I don't really want to play players against. And Olave, I just think Olave, do you want to put your fantasy season in the hands of Tyler Shuck, I guess is why I'm kind of anti-Olave. While Flowers, he's been good. He had a nice game last week as well. It is a easy matchup against the Bengals. That's how I do it, man. I put ETN in my flex, but if you're feeling like you really want to lean into the full PPR, Ron, and you're like, you know what, I don't want to do Swift in the flex, I would then stick in Olave. So JMO's kind of the odd man out. I'd personally go Cook, ETN at the flex, and then McLaurin, Flowers at my 2 wide receivers. What's up, Brandon? Hell yeah, dude. Happy to help, man. Fucking, how was snowboarding, bro? Where did you go snowboarding, by the way? You must live in where do you snowboard in the States? I'm from California, so I have no fucking clue. I guess Midwest? Would you go to Colorado area? Down Colorado way? Full PPR, JJ or ETN? Jefferson is playing the Cowboys, but I feel like I can't trust him. I feel you, bro. Holy shit, that is a tough one. Everything I just said about ETN, I think stands here, man. Even though it's a full PPR league and you know what Jefferson can do, just when I look at the game log, bro, I know he has a really good matchup. I did have him as a start of the week with both guys having really good matchups. But I do think there's a chance that J.J. McCarthy kind of eats a fart again, and there's a lot of pressure on him from the Cowboys, and he just looks broken, right? So I'd go with ETN. It's just the safer play. At the end of the day in the playoffs, you want upside, but you also don't want to catch a 0 or catch a 2-3 point performance. But I think you might be kicking yourself, man. I think you could be kicking yourself when that game finally comes, right? Week 15 against Dallas. Look, he should have done that in week 14 against the Commanders. So I get it. But I'm going with the safer play. I'm going with the ETN, man. Justin Jefferson, holy shit. We got some questions, dude. Justin Jefferson, Devin Neal, Luther Burner, Adonai Mitchell. In the flex plus wide receiver 2. I'm going with Jefferson and Neal there, man. I just don't trust Burden with Odunze back. I don't trust Adonai. He's very much boomer bust. While Jefferson, he's been mostly bust, but we know he's going to at least get the targets, right? So, I'd bench Jefferson for ETN because we know he's going to get guaranteed touches in a game that they're going to win. But I wouldn't trust Adonai Mitchell over Jefferson, right? Basically, it's you sit Jefferson only if it's for a dude who's really sturdy or really steady. So, Yeah, Matthew says ETN for sure. I agree with that. Kincaid or Juwan Johnson? Let's look at it. Kincaid is playing against the Patriots. Let's see how they've been against tight ends real quick. 12th best against tight ends. They haven't given up a touchdown. I don't love that for Kincaid. Juwan Johnson plays against the Panthers, who are 6th best. Okay, so look, I guess Kincaid is not only the better matchup, right? They're giving up more yards and catches, but he also has a better quarterback. So I'd go with Kincaid there, man. Aaron Jones, Jacoby Myers, or Devin Neal. Damn. You're killing me, Mealp. Let's look at the matchups. Cowboys. Aaron Jones playing against the Cowboys. I believe he's from Texas. I believe he wanted the Cowboys to draft him, if I recall. But how have the Cowboys been against running backs the last couple of weeks, dude? If I recall correctly, they've been a little bit better. 17th best. That's a huge improvement on where they used to be, man. A huge improvement on where they used to be. So, Aaron Jones, is he getting enough work that we can trust him in our fantasy football playoffs? He hasn't scored over 10 points in 4 weeks. The offense is pretty anemic at times. I'd probably go with Devin Neal with the really, really good matchup there, man. I know Jacoby Myers coming off a good game as well, but that's kind of the roulette. You don't know who it's going to hit on. It could hit on Brian Thomas, could hit on Parker Washington, who I believe is playing. Let me see. Ready to face the Jets. So Parker is active, man, which means Jacoby gets a tiny bit of a hit. Devin Neal, really good matchup. I'd go with Devin Neal, man. Again, you're guaranteeing some touches. Vidius were good, bro. Just feeding the family before football. Hell yeah, man. What's on the motherfucking menu, dude? Last one for me, Shador coming off a huge game, or Caleb Williams in my QB2. Coldest game of the week. Oh, that's good insight, Seth. 10 degrees? Oh, shit. But Shador, I just want to remind you, whenever you see a dude like Shador Sanders pop off, have a big week, I know you're like, yo, we might be able to start this man. He's looking like a good option. Keep in mind, the dude had 11 and 10 fantasy points the weeks before. So the Tennessee Titans, actually a really good run defense, absolutely atrocious against quarterbacks and wide receivers. That's why Shador Sanders was able to do what he did. Chicago is different, man. Chicago is different. They are not the same piece of shit team that the Titans. They're not the same piece of shit team that the Titans are when it comes to defending quarterbacks. So, I say don't be too cute there, man. I mean, Chicago's defense, they're 12th best against quarterbacks the last 4 weeks. So go with Caleb Williams there, man. I know it's the Browns and they're 11th best, but it's just, dude, Shador Sanders he has the chance to get you 3 fantasy points, right, against the Bears. It could just be a complete shutout. So we saw what he was able to do before. Caleb Williams has a little bit more running upside too, and if it's a really cold game, you probably stick with the guy whose team is favorites. Or Rico. I'm also down 70 already. Holy shit, Brandon! Did you get Kyle Pitts? What happened, man? Brandon, I think I already answered it though, right? JJ or ETN? If it's JJ, ETN, or Rico, I probably still go with ETN. Personally, I want the guy on the team that's going to win and win easily. So, would you start both Likely and Andrews? Don't have great options this week for my tight end and flex. Sidonia, let me know some other flex options. But yes, your short answer is yes, I would. The matchup is just so good for tight ends, right? I also have Zay. Oh, if you have Zay, you're going to go with Likely and Zay. So go with Zay at your flex, Likely at the tight end. RBs to start, Hunt, Chuba, JCM, or Singletary. I'm starting Tracy. Go with JCM there, man. Chris Rodriguez is out, so it's going to be all JCM this week. I'll try to highlight these messages as I get to them. I need help. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Motherfucker said start my whole team. What's up, D Baron? Welcome, man. I'm just fucking around. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Choose my dinner. Grade my term paper for me. All right, so two running backs. You're probably going to go CMC and Rico. I just really don't want to play Swift against the Browns. And then 2 wide receivers and a flex. I'm going to go with I got to start your tight end as well. Holy shit, dude. Should I come do your laundry as well, man? You better subscribe, brother. All right, 2 wide receivers: Flowers, Wilson, Diggs, Wandale. Damn, that's tough, dude. All right, plus a flex. I'm probably going all wide receivers here. Let me go with Wilson. He's got to get into the lineup. Flowers and Wandale. I think Diggs is the odd man out. And then when it comes to tight ends, I don't want to start Goddard. That over-under is disgusting. Yo, this is annoying. Fergalicious. Who are the Cowboys playing again? Who are the Cowboys playing? The Vikings. How are the Vikings doing against tight ends? Let's just quickly help this dude out. The Cowboys are 19th best against tight ends, so they're not that good. No, they're playing the Vikings. Sorry. Where are they at? 4th best against tight ends. I don't know if we can trust Fergalicious, man. Ferguson. Gesicki has a even worse matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. And Goddard has... How are the Vegas Raiders doing against tight ends? Let's have a look real quick. Holy shit, they're number 1. They're the best. Your 3 options are 3 tight ends playing against the 3 better defenses against tight ends, man. That is a tough one. I guess I go with Ferguson. He's got the better matchup out of all those teams you just listed. And probably the more trusted offense, I guess. I don't know. Gesicki? Would you really play Gesicki over Ferguson? I feel like I'd just go with Ferguson and hope he gets a touchdown, man. So to recap, CMC, Rico, Flowers, Wilson, Wandale, Ferguson. You're in Jersey. Oh, shit. You can actually go snowing up there. That's true. Local slope. I believe we just call that sledding, bro. Shit. I just skipped a bunch of questions. My bad, everybody. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry I'm going so slow through these questions. I hope you guys are sticking around and waiting, man. And hopefully some of the insights helps you guys on some of your sit starts, maybe in other leagues. But what's up, Jay Up? 2 running backs, 1 flex, and 1 tight end out of Harvey, Hendy, Genty, Judkins, Christian Watson, Michael Pittman, Keenan Allen, Kelson, Fannin Jr. Bro, you guys are killing me with these thesis papers I got to grade, man. All right. Harvey, Hendy, Genty, Judkins. Harvey, Hendy, Genty, Judkins. 2 RBs, 1 flex. I just have to quickly look at who the Broncos are playing. I'm sorry, this is not the most professional setup we got going on here. He's playing the Packers. Ooh, I don't want to play Harvey against the Packers. Hendy is going up against the Bills. That's a really nice one, dude. Hendy against the Bills. The problem is I already know who Genty's playing. I already know who Judkins is playing. If you need 2 RBs, I'm going with Hendy. I'm going with Judkins. I know it sucks sitting Harvey, sitting Genty, but both of them have really tough matchups. When it comes to your flex and tight end, I'm going with Christian Watson. He's just been too hot. He's actually looked really good too. I know it's the Broncos, but this is a very important game for both teams. And the Colts are going to have P. Rivers against the Seahawks. I don't want to really play Pittman. It's a low over-under. I'd personally go with Christian Watson, man. No tight end premium. You have to choose a tight end, though. It's going to be Fannin. He's just hyper-targeted. And Njoku's out. So I hope that helps you, J-Up. Let me know what you end up going with, though, J-Up, if you're still here, man. Javonte with incentives. Oh, does he have incentives? That's some good shit, Gooner. Javonte with incentives or Tet with them needing to win. Or Neal. I don't know if Neal is for the lulls, man. I feel like he's a legitimate starter this week, bro. That's a good-ass matchup for Neal. against the Panthers. They are dog shit against running backs. Um, they are 29th against running backs, bro. Neal is not a lulls play. I know what you mean though. Like he's a nobody, right? He's kind of just a guy. But Javonte with incentives. The Cowboys are playing against the Vikings. I think the Vikings are really good against running backs, right? Okay, not really good, but they're 13th. I keep doing that in this fucking stream. Keep saying teams are really good. 13th best against running backs, but you know he's on a good offense. You know it's a pretty nice over under. Tet and they need to win. The problem, Gooner, is that the Panthers needing to win can turn into a Rico Dowdle Chuba game, right? It doesn't necessarily mean McMillan is going to be, as involved as we'd like him to be. And they are favorites in that game, right? So as much as I love Tet in a game, they have to win. Tet could be a nice play. They're projected to be winning this game. And they're probably going to win this game. And it could just be Rico. So with that said, I'm going Javonte. But for me, it's between Javonte and Neal. If you want to fully, take your dick out, put it on the table, and make like a big time play that is like, super risky, I'd go with Neal. But Javonte is probably the safer play, to be honest, man. Just to be fully honest with you. Christian Watson, Kenneth Walker, Rico Dowdle, full PPR. Oh, I'd go with Christian Watson in full PPR, man. Rico Dowdle and Walker are both good plays, but they are both in kind of time splits. So Christian Watson, we know he's the alpha wide receiver there. And it's a big time game for both teams, man. They can both take a stranglehold of their divisions, right, if they both win. So Sidonia, thank you for the words, man. Ron's the man. Good luck to everyone. Yeah, good luck to you as well, bro. Let me know how you do, Sidonia. Hell yeah, man. I hope you guys win some championships. I'm living through you guys. Starting J-Mo, Michael Wilson over Jefferson, not going to lie. Yeah, dude, I feel you completely, man. I mean, Jefferson's just been kind of butt cheeks, dude. So kind of dog water lately. Start one, Aaron Jones, Tracy, Shakir, Christian Watson. Full PPR. I'm going with Watson, dude. I'm trying to win some fucking championships out here, man. So I'm going with Christian Watson. I'm just hoping he keeps looking as good as he's been, dude. He's looked really good. Like, forget the stats, forget the production. He has been straight up mossing cornerbacks. And he's got a really tough matchup against the Broncos. A really tough matchup. But at this point, we can't leave him on our benches, man. And I don't like the Aaron Jones usage and his production as of late. Tracy, it's a good matchup, but Singletary has looked really good, and he seems to be their goal line back. Shakir, I'm sorry, I can't start Shakir in fantasy playoffs, man. At this point, I'd rather drop Shakir and hope somebody picks him up and starts him. I know it's a really good matchup or a really good game script. Bills, Patriots, divisional game, super important. Shakir is just so, when Kincaid is in the game, Shakir just does nothing. Darren Waller or Mike Gesicki, I'm going with Waller. Give him another chance. Waller should have been better last week. He was off to a good start. Gesicki, he has one of the tougher matchups for tight ends. We already looked at the tight end points against. PPR flex, pick 2, Kelsey, Chuba, or Likely. Likely is going to be in my lineup pretty much no matter what in most leagues I'm in. So I'm going with Likely. And then between Chuba and Kelsey, Roach. That's a tough one, bro. PPR. Look, man, I'm just going to say this. Chargers defense is legit. But against tight ends, how have they been? Let's have a look. The Chargers defense has been 27th worst against tight ends. Must-win game for the Chiefs. I'm going with Kelsey. I'm going with Likely. Chuba Hubbard. The team already said we were riding him because he had the hot hand. He was playing well early on, so we rode him. But Rico is still our guy. They kind of said that after last week. So I'm going with Kelsey in a must-win game, divisional game. Chargers are bad against tight ends. I'm going with Likely. Absolute best matchup for tight ends by a country mile. So that's what I'm doing, bro. Chris Rodriguez out, David Montgomery, or Jeremy McNichols. Go with Montgomery, dude. Tough matchup, but it's a high over-under. So stick with Montgomery. Just hope he falls into the end zone. Jeremy McNichols is just too boom bust, and he's going to have to get like 5 targets and bust one for him to return value. While I think Montgomery has a easier shot at scoring, in my opinion. So, hope it helps, man. Hope it helps. Sorry, guys. Gesicki versus Ravens or Loveland versus the Browns. Let me just quickly have a look at how the Browns have been against tight ends, because I don't think they've been that good. So they're 25th worst against tight ends. I'm going with Loveland. Gesicki has a really tough matchup this week, man. The Ravens are number 2 against tight ends. So let's go with Loveland in that one. He's coming. Loveland is shaping out to be a really good option for the Bears. So, Brandon, 2-week playoffs. Damn. I kind of fuck with 2-week playoffs, to be honest, man. I feel like it gives you a better shot, right? Like the better team usually wins in the end, because it's like your opponent's going to have to get lucky twice if you feel like you have a better team. So, Herbert or Lawrence, pick one. I'm going to go with over-unders on this one, bro. Lawrence, 40.5 over-under, big-time favorites. This could just be a run game, while Herbert against the Chiefs in a big-time divisional game, kind of a similar over-under, but they are underdogs, so maybe the Chargers are forced to throw the ball a little bit more. And sometimes these divisional games, man, Herbert could throw like 3 touchdowns in this one for over 300 yards. So I'm going with Herbert. I know he's got the broken hand, doesn't have the same rushing upside, but I'm going with Herbert. Lawrence could end up just taking a backseat in that game with a low over-under. Pick one, PPR, Omarion Hampton, Adonai, Tyrone Tracy, or Brenton Strange. I just have to quickly look at Hampton's usage. If I remember, it was like 30% snaps. 31% snaps, only 2 targets, full PPR. He's going to have to get another touchdown to make you happy. I don't think they're going to be phasing Vidal out anytime soon. So, with that said, Adonai Mitchell, Tyrone Tracy, or Brent Strange, are any of those 3 good enough to start over Hampton? It's a really tough matchup for Hampton, dude. The Chiefs are legit against running backs. You know what, man? I think it's such a good matchup for Tyrone Tracy against the Commanders. I think I'm just going to go with Tyrone Tracy there. I think he's the safest play, to be honest. Brenton Strange, I don't really feel good about starting a tight end. Bro, chill. I'm just looking for advice. I gave you the advice, D Baron. I had to tease you a little bit, man. Let me know what you end up going with, Baron. Hampton or JCM? I'm going JCM, Zach. Really good matchup, really easy matchup, and he's going to be the full-time starter there. I think Jeremy McNichols is not going to be that involved. This is JCM's pretty much last chance to find himself on a roster next season. We're talking about a 7th or 5th round pick, right? So Rico, Hubbard, Tet, Kincaid, Michael Wilson, pick 1. In a pick 1 situation, I'm going with Wilson. I can't leave him on the bench, man, after what he's been doing, the target volume. Tedero McMillan's going to have to get touchdowns on like 6 targets, while Michael Wilson, you can pencil him in for like 10 targets. Mariota or Shador? Mariota 100%, bro. He has such a good matchup. And he has actually a pretty decent floor, right? So, Hunt or Shakir? Snow in Buffalo is crazy. I'm probably going with Hunt in that one, dude. The Chargers' run defense is booty sweat, dude. Butt cheeks. What's up, Fizz? Welcome, man. No problem, dude. It's all good. We were kind of last minute. We kind of scheduled the stream like at 5 o'clock, at 5 p.m. or 5 p.m. my time. I don't know what time it is for you guys. So we scheduled it late, but we're firing it up. It's already 6:50 here. Football's about to start in 9 minutes. Lamar or Burrow in 6-point. We talked about this a little earlier, Ray. I'd go with Lamar. Higher floor with the rushing upside. And Burrow doesn't have Higgins. So I want to go with the team who's favorites to win. And, Lamar's got all his weapons. So I'd go with Lamar there. I understand. Even though it's 6-point passing touchdown, I do think Lamar has a better path to 20 fantasy points than Burrow in this one. Like the Ravens defense has been legit the last couple weeks, man. Devin Neal versus Carolina or Christian Watson versus Denver. Holy shit, Mike. Mike, that's a tough one, dude. Because we're approaching the end of the stream, let's really look at this, dude. Let's really have a close look at this matchup. The Panthers are 29th worst against running backs the last 4 weeks, Mike. Devin Neal has a really good matchup, bro. It's just we don't know what version of Tyler Shuck and the Saints are going to show up. This can be a game where the Panthers feeling fortified, feeling hot, feeling themselves after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just lost. This team could show up and just shut the Saints out. Christian Watson has a really difficult matchup as well. I'd go with Devin Neal in that one. I know Christian Watson's been great. Devin Neal just has such a good matchup, and I do think Shuck and the Saints, they want to play spoiler, man. They don't want the Panthers to just walk all over them, get into the playoffs. I'd go with Devin Neal, and I just hope that the Denver Broncos defense shuts down Christian Watson, which we know that they're capable of. And considering the fact it's half PPR as well, I think you lean Devin Neal there, man. Am I crazy for sitting Kyron this week? Yeah. I would say you're probably crazy, man. You're choosing to play Genty? Yo, Mr. Rogmar, Greg, listen, bro, you can't play Genty. We went through this a little earlier. I just want to show you, man. The Raiders are 12.5-point underdogs with a 37.5 over-under. That means the Raiders are projected to score, I think, like 13 points total. Pretty much Genty's going to have to get all of that plus hella production for him to return. What value? Like, what value will he return, right? Even if he gets hella catches, let's just have a look at what he's done against other really good defenses, right? Let's try to find one. Kansas City, 3 fantasy points. Denver, this is kind of a ceiling play here, 13 fantasy points against Denver, and that's with a touchdown. So, against Cleveland, that's kind of weird. He had 20 fantasy points, but I'm sorry, bro. You can't play Genty over Kyron. There's just no world that I would do that. I'm choosing to play Genty, AJ Brown, Trevion, and Woody instead. So if it's between all those players you listed, I'm kicking Genty out of the lineup and I'm putting Kyron in. That's just what I would do, man. I wouldn't get too cute about it. Lad. Wait, can you guys even see the chat here? Hold up. Fuck it. Lad, Odunze, or Addison? I'm going with Lad there. Quentin Johnson is out. Josh Bonino. So go with Lad in that one, man. He's just the safest play. What's up, Josh? Tet or Genty? As I said about Genty, bro, I'm not starting him. I'm not starting with that low ass over under. Dude is gonna have to get a touchdown just to get you like 11, 12 fantasy points. I understand the upside. He's getting enough volume to be relevant, but give me Tet and just avoid the headache of watching him get stonewalled, bro, on every play. What's up, Big Mac? Dude, thank you for the super chat, bro. I super appreciate it, man. Diggs versus Buffalo or Lad versus Kansas City? Woody or JCM? All right, so between Diggs and Lad, I lean Lad because Quentin is out. Even though he's got a tougher matchup, he is going to be their slot wide receiver usually. Runs most of his routes out of the slot. Kansas City doesn't really defend the slot too well. That's like one of the few places you can beat them. And Diggs against Buffalo, revenge game. I understand like the temptation. He was good against them last time he played them. But to be fully honest, man, Diggs just has not been startable lately. Like when I look at the game log, what made Diggs an effective player was that he would give volume, right? We knew that we can kind of pencil him in for like 7-8 targets, and we knew he'd get, have a chance at a touchdown, have those random games where he'll get 100 yards, but it looks like that's kind of the exception, or that's the outlier here. To put it in perspective, the last time he had over 15 fantasy points was in week 5 against Buffalo, bro. So I would lean Lad. It's a divisional game. This is also a divisional game, but I'd lean Lad because Quentin is out. I know it's a tough one. I know the revenge game factor, bro, but just go with the player who has a little bit of a safer floor, because we see that Diggs could just end up being an afterthought. This could just be a Trevion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson run the fucking ball, dude, because the Buffalo Bills are really struggling against the run. So Woody or JCM, both really good plays this week, Brad. But I'm probably going to lean with Woody there, man. Texans are playing against, just to refresh my memory, the Cardinals, who are absolutely atrocious against running backs, bro. They are getting absolutely destroyed. Look at that, 30th against running backs the last 4 weeks. So I'm starting Woody. He's coming off a game where he had 29 touches. So go with Woody. JCM has a really good matchup as well against the Giants, who are 31st. But he's gonna have to completely turn it around, right? Because he was really bad the last times he was relevant. So I'd lean Woody there. I understand though if you want to go with JCM with like a really good matchup as well, but keep in mind there is no Jaden Daniels, so maybe the offense isn't as good as it could be. Yeah, happy to help Mike. Neal or Hampton? I'd go with Neal. We know he's going to be the full-time guy. Hampton has a tough matchup, and Hampton only played 30% of the snaps, man. So I'd go with Neal personally. Lad Walker or Jalen Warren? What's up, Charlie? Welcome, dude. I'd go with Lad, Charlie. As I mentioned, Quentin is out, and Walker's in a timeshare. So Walker, great talent, really good matchup, but at the end of the day, when they get into the end zone, we just know that, you know, Kenneth Walker usually has a seat on the bench and lets Charbonnet punch those in. So let me get Ladd. I think he could have a huge game here in a really important game that the Chargers really want to win it so that the Chiefs don't make the playoffs, and the Chiefs really want to win it to obviously try to get into the playoffs. So are you discounting Kenny Pickett? Oh, shit. I forgot that Kenny Pickett is starting. Damn, Fizz. Completely forgot that. That's probably why the over-under is even lower, right? That means Genty's good. Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I can't play Genty even with the extra Kenny Pickett boost, right? Yo, Alex, if it's any type of tight end premium, I'm going Fannin. But if it's just a normal PPR, half PPR, I'm going Bill. Auto starting Bill this week. Really good matchup. He's going to be the starter. Luther, unfortunately, we just can't start him if Odunze is in. I think that's the stream, boys. I think that does it, man. Let's just look at some last second stuff. I mean, everybody's rosters are locked at this point, but good luck. Good luck to everyone, man. I hope you guys have a good week. Hope you guys win your matchups. Hope you guys are just doing well in general. Hope everybody's spending time with the fam, having a good time. Thank you guys for dropping in, watching the stream. I hope it helped, man. At the end of the day, I'm not an expert. I just try to give you a little bit of insights on, you know, matchups and stuff like that. But thank you to everyone, and I'll catch you guys on Monday. We'll do a waiver wire video. We might do some rankings this week. We'll see. Anyway, take care, everybody.